Good morning friends, welcome to Raj Malhotra IAS. So guys, here we are about to start the session. The PDF for today's session has already been uploaded. You can download the PDF. Let me just share the link with other students. चलिए The PDF has been uploaded. You can download the PDF and let's start the session. Let's see what exactly is there for us. So let's look into the statement made by Nelson Mandela. So he is saying that the greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but rising every time we fall. The glory lies in not in never falling, rather it lies in rising again and again, even if you are experiencing failure in your life. This is really important. This message is important for us. So you need to understand one thing. What happens, sometimes we start judging ourselves that we may not have the capability, that in the past in our academics we haven't performed well, so we should not go for UPSC attempts कि भी हमने पास में परफॉर्म नहीं किया है, आफ्टर 12th IIT JEE क्रैक नहीं किया है, लाइक एम्स का एग्जाम क्रैक नहीं किया है. ओके, सो वी हैव नेवर बीन इनटू अ गुड, you can say, Delhi University College. So this is how people will have in their mind, and they will start judging themselves, and they say that we are born to face failure, and if you try something again, the result is going to be a failure. So the major point is this: the glory lies in rising again and again, that you keep trying in your life to achieve your goal. This is what should be the mantra for you. Whatever you have done in the past, UPSC is a platform which provide equal opportunity for everyone. It doesn't make any difference what you did in the past. Yes, there are some traits, there are some habits that individuals, those who are doing great in the past, they are habitual of working hard. But if you can work hard in the present as well, you can crack this exam. This is what is this message is telling you, that keep trying, keep growing, keep trying to achieve your goals. This should be the mantra. So let's look into this aspect here. आज देखते हैं आज की अखबार में क्या खास है हमारे लिए. Okay, so as you can see on the screen, Modi ji has been presented a memento by Interpol President Ahmed Nasser. Okay, Modi ji has also made some statement. Modi ji is saying that these days the nature of crime has changed and it is transnational in nature. कि भाई आज की डेट में जो क्राइम है, it is transnational in nature. Okay, that it is not confined to one particular nation. So you have to cooperate with other countries, you have to work with other countries to deal with that nature of crime. So what sort of crimes that we India experiencing? So you talk about terrorism. Okay, so terrorism, cross country, cross border terrorism is going on. When you talk about narcotics related crime, drugs related crime, drug abuse, smuggling of drugs in India, it is also, you can say, associated with other country. So in today's session at the end, I'll tell you the overall scenario, what's the drug abuse, you can say, scenario in India, because Supreme Court has also issued instructions to the government कि भाई कुछ करो. Okay, situation is really very alarming. So we have included that thing in our, you can say, today's session, and at the end we will be discussing about it and what's the situation with respect to India. Okay, so that's an issue. Then yesterday we looked into the aspects related to cyber crime. Okay, again the origin of cyber crime can be any other country. So the prime focus should be this, that we need to work together as a team, because individually you might not be able to deal with this. आप अकेले इस चीज के साथ डील नहीं कर सकते, because origin of the crime is not in your country, it is somewhere else. So you need to have cooperation of that particular country to deal with that crime. जरूरी नहीं है कि आपके देश से हो रहा हो, कहीं से भी हो सकता है, साइबर क्राइम कहीं से भी हो सकता है. So you need to have that, you can say, cooperative engagement with other parts of the world so that we can deal with this. Okay, इतना आसान नहीं होता है, jurisdictions different हैं, rules different हैं, laws different हैं, but at least we can work upon cooperation. कुछ तो effort करें, that's the point here. So we need to look into this aspect. Okay, there is another news regarding language issue, because yesterday there was a news that parliamentary committee has come out with some recommendations regarding language. Okay, so here Tamil Nadu, they have some reservations regarding imposition of Hindi. We look into this aspect, the debate related to Hindi. So what should be the official language? It was debated very clearly by your Constituent Assembly, and there was a formula which was devised that initially for 15 years English shall continue to be the official language. When 1965 was about to reach, there was some agitation that started in the southern states. During this Constituent Assembly debate as well, doubts were raised, apprehensions were raised by some of the non-Hindi speaking states. Okay, this is how it was debated. Now those who were promoting Hindi, those who were favoring Hindi, they were saying that English was the language of enslavement. English was the language of enslavement, and how can you continue with English as your official language? This is the point that they raised. Okay, but later on for 15 years it was concluded that English is going to be the official language. Then Nehru ji in 1959 assured the states, specifically non-Hindi speaking states, that English is going to remain as an official language. तो नेहरू जी ने assurance दे दिया and matter was relatively settled. Before that as well there was some anti-Hindi agitation in the southern states. थोड़ा बहुत anti-Hindi agitation वहाँ पे हुआ था. That was the point. Now let's look into the constitutional arrangement. We have Article 343 which specifically says that official language of union shall be Hindi in Devanagari script. Official language shall be Hindi in Devanagari script. Okay, this is what your constitution is saying. Then there is Article 351 which says that union government has this duty to promote the spread of Hindi so that it can become a medium of expression for all elements of the composite culture of India, so that it can become medium of expression for all, you can say, elements of composite culture of India. Now here I would like to bring in the statistics in front of you. So if you go by 2011 census, it says that in India 57% of the people, they can speak Hindi and they can understand Hindi. Okay, they can speak Hindi and they can understand Hindi. Other point is this, 43% of the Indian population, they mention Hindi as their mother tongue. वो हिंदी को अपनी मदर टंग बताते हैं. ठीक है जी, this is the point. Now what happens is this, whenever we start debating language, it normally becomes a political issue because no one wants to find a solution. Your constitution is setting up a duty on the government that they have to promote Hindi, not primarily from the regional perspective that there should be one language for all India. ऐसा नहीं है बिल्कुल भी. The major point is this, it is going to facilitate communication between different parts of the countries. This is what the major goal was. That's why this particular system, this particular arrangement was provided in the constitution. So one thing is this, other point you need to understand, during the Constituent Assembly debate as well, it was shown that someone is trying to impose Hindi, because people who were vocal about Hindi, they were quite aggressively putting up the demand to make Hindi an official language or national language. काफी aggressively वो deal कर रहे थे. Now the point is this, when you are debating and you are not persuading the other party, you are just instructing, you are chest thumping about it, it sends a bad message. And this is what had happened in the past. So right now, instead of imposing it on the states, the government, the union government should try to build consensus, because by persuasion only we can assure that Hindi can be promoted. ये एक solution है जो हमें समझ में आता है. Otherwise, the point will be this: if you will impose it, the other regional language states, they will take it as a imposition, and there will be reluctance to this development. बिल्कुल reluctance होगा. Other point is this: promotion of language should be organic. Okay, promotion of language should be organic. There should be an organic, you can say, promotion of language. You cannot impose things. That's one point. How can organically language can be spread? Through education system. Now you must be knowing this. We somehow devised something called 3-language formula. Okay, so there was this education policy that was declared in 1960s. Okay, it devised a 3-language formula that in the schools 3 languages will be taught. So say there will be a Hindi belt school. So in Hindi belt there will be Hindi that will be taught. There will be English that will be taught. Okay, English पढ़ाई जाएगी, Hindi पढ़ाई जाएगी, and along with that regional language or any other Indian language. Okay, any other Indian language, it will be taught in the Hindi belt area. In the states, non-Hindi speaking states, okay, non-Hindi states, the arrangement was this: Hindi will be taught, English will be taught, and they will have their own regional language, which will be the mother tongue of the masses. Okay, this was the arrangement that was explored. Now the point is this: here a major, you can say, problem was created by the Hindi speaking states only. Why I am saying this? See, I studied Sanskrit till class 8th. In my school, instead of any other language, any other regional language, school had this system of Sanskrit. I belong to Haryana. Same was the scenario with other states where Hindi is being spoken. Now there is next state to Haryana is Punjab. Even Punjabi was not taught to me. Sanskrit was taught to me. There was no other choice available to me. What was the reason? The major trouble was that teachers of regional languages were not available. So as teachers were not available in the northern belt, this idea of having 3 language to be taught to the masses, it failed. ये idea वहाँ पे fail हो गया था. That was the point here. So southern states, they said about this thing. They said that you brought this 3-language formula, but you didn't teach Hindi belt our language. Why should we comfortable with your language? For them, Hindi and English both are equally, you can say, difficult to understand. For non-Hindi speaking belt, Hindi and English both are difficult. So for them, Hindi is equivalent to English. This is the point. So they said that we prefer to learn English. This is how where things were wrong. And here at present, we can really improve these things. So 3-language formula, it is an answer to this particular problem. Specifically in the northern belt, if we are teaching the Dravidian languages, the southern Indian languages, it can really improve the scenario. If we are accommodative, the Hindi belt is accommodative to these regional languages, they will also be accommodative to the Hindi language. That's the point here. And it will create a conducive environment where you can promote Hindi. So this is one workable solution that we have. Okay. So Madhav Maheshwari is saying, sir, in my first year of the graduation, I want to prepare UPSC examination. From now, please suggest me which book should I read. Okay. See, the point is this: start with NCRTs. आप NCRT शुरू करें. चलिए. So this is what was there in the front page. Okay. So I will just show this thing to you. Supreme Court to hear pleas on the release of Bilkis case convicts. Okay. See, this became a major issue. So Bilkis Bano, she was raped during the Gujarat riots. During Gujarat riots, this woman was raped, and later on, at present, the convicts, okay, they completed their whatever imprisonment, saza jo bhi thi, punishment, and they were released. Azadi ka mahotsav mana rahe the, and they were released. उनको रिलीज कर दिया गया. ओके, नाउ इट बिकेम अ मेजर इशू. सी, वन थिंग इज दैट देयर इज अ moral argument to this. Okay, morally if you see, like you are releasing rape convicts, it is sending a wrong message. कहीं ना कहीं ये message गलत है. Other angle is this legal. Now legally if you see, it is right. Legally बिल्कुल वो सही है, because it is the government's prerogative to decide who is to be released and who is not. This is what the scenario is. So right now the court is going to look into whether this release was appropriate or not. अगर by law चलेंगे तो बिल्कुल ये appropriate होगा. Okay, that was the point. Other than that, here on this page there is nothing much, कुछ खास नहीं. So directly we'll move to the editorial section. Before editorial section there were two news. Okay, दो news आई थी जो मुझे cover करनी है. So I'll show it to you. It's there in the slide. I'll just move to the editorials. Okay, इधर सीधा editorial खोल देते हैं. चलिए. So let's look into this news which was there. हाँ जी. So 6 spider species they have been discovered across the country. Okay, so we need to know in which states these spider species have been discovered. That's the only valuable information that you have to keep in your mind, and you can make notes out of it as well, because this is important for your prelims. ये आपके prelims से related है. Why I am saying that it is related to prelims? So in 2016 prelims, okay, UPSC did ask a question regarding new species of banana. So new species of banana, they were found in Andaman Nicobar Island. Okay, and UPSC put up as a question in your paper. So here 6 these new species of spiders, it has been found in different parts of countries. So we need to know in which areas they are located. So they have been found from Garo Hills in Meghalaya, Thar Desert in Rajasthan, Wayanad Wildlife Sanctuary. Wayanad Wildlife Sanctuary. Now you need to understand one thing. This information can be stored in your notes, because specific question on Wayanad Wildlife Sanctuary can be asked. So this is the homework that I am giving to you. Tell me in which state Wayanad Wildlife Sanctuary is located. कौन से स्टेट में ये वायनाड सेंचुरी जो है ये लोकेटेड है. ओके, देन नेक्स्ट इज दैट वन स्पीशीज हैज बीन फाउंड इन कोट्टपारा हिल्स नियर कोटमंगलम. ओके, कोट्टपारा हिल्स नियर कोटमंगलम, एंड थुम्बुर्स मुजी बटरफ्लाई गार्डन नियर अरिथ्रपल्ली. सो it is your homework. You have to tell me where is this Kottapara Hills located. Kottapara Hills कहाँ पे located है? In which state these Kottapara Hills are located? Okay, so just tell me the state where Kottapara Hills are located. ठीक है जी, तमिलनाडु आ रहा आंसर, बिल्कुल सही. And then Thamburuzi Butterfly Garden near Arithapillai. Where is this located? ये कहाँ पे located है? This Thamburuzi Butterfly Garden. Where is this located? Okay, just tell me, just put up in the comment along with the name. So because there are these questions related to multiple things, just put up like this: Kottapara Hills dash the state, and then Thamburmuzi Butterfly Garden dash state. Okay, this is how you need to answer it in the comment section or in the chat box. So this is how these species have been located. Now there are still some statistics associated with this. So 2 new species, they come under the family of jumping spiders. They were discovered from Thar Desert of Rajasthan and Kurichiad Forest Range of Wayanad Wildlife Sanctuary. So in Wayanad Wildlife Sanctuary, Kurichiad Forest Range is located, because if I want to make a question on prelims on Wayanad Wildlife Sanctuary, I can put up one statement as new spider species have been found. The second statement I will put, okay, Kurichiad Forest Range is located in Wayanad Wildlife Sanctuary, and third statement I will relate it to the state. 3 statement डाल के मैं ये question बनाऊंगा, and then I will give you option A, B, C, D. This is what UPSC will do. So this information you have to keep it in your notes. Then these are the species name. Okay, the species that has been found in Thar, there is no need to learn these scientific names, जरूरी नहीं है. जो थार में मिल रही है, जो राजस्थान में मिल रही है, that spider It has white fine hair on the back and black horizon lines on the abdomen. एब्डोमन पे ब्लैक होराइजन लाइंस हैं और वाइट फाइन हेयर है बैक हेड के ऊपर. दिस इज व्हाट यू नीड टू नो. दिस इंफॉर्मेशन शुड बी देयर इन योर नोट्स. ये पूरा का पूरा आपको यहां पे लिखना होगा. So we'll move to the next. Next, there was another news related to Japan seeks GI tag for Nihonshu, an alcoholic beverage. Nihonshu, an alcoholic beverage. It's a Japanese drink. Okay. So they are seeking GI tag, geographical indicator status, to this. Now why are they seeking this? Basically they want this thing to be registered in Chennai. तो चेन्नई के अंदर ये रजिस्टर्ड करना चाहते हैं. ओके, द रीजन इज दिस, व्हेन यू गेट अ जीआई टैग, वन थिंग, इट्स अ क्वालिटी एश्योरेंस. एक क्वालिटी एश्योरेंस है. इट विल प्रमोट योर, यू कैन से, एफिलिएशन दैट दिस इज अ जापानीज ड्रिंक. ये जापानीज ड्रिंक है, उस कहाँ से एफिलिएटेड है वो पूरी क्लैरिटी आती है. ओके, अदर पॉइंट इज दिस, देर आर सम मोर स्टैटिस्टिक्स you can say related to that. So now, like this particular drink, okay, chaliye, so it's a special valuable beverage. People in Japan traditionally consume it on special occasions, on festivals, on weddings, on funerals, and as well as on the daily basis they consume it, and it is part of integral, you can say it is integral part of Japanese culture and lifestyle. This is the information that you need to know here. So ये भी आपके नोट्स में होनी चाहिए. Again this is relevant for your prelims. ये आपके prelims के लिए relevant है. ठीक है जी. So we will keep it in our notes. Let's move to the next part that is related to the editorial. Okay. So there are 2-3 editorials that have been published in today's newspaper, but we will be picking few of them. सबको हम लोग नहीं पिक करेंगे, कुछ को उठाते हैं यहाँ पे. Okay, like examining the case of Congress family reunion. So it is related to the family system in the Congress. We won't be picking it up. So it will be having a political connotation. कहीं ना कहीं political connotation है. इस चीज को हम नहीं उठाएंगे. So we'll directly rush to this particular editorial. The Dyer need to talk about 1962. Okay. So the Dyer need to talk about 1962. What happened in 1962? India-China war. India was defeated and China took away some parts of Ladakh. Okay. That was a major issue. Now, failure of India to protect its land in 1962 war, it also raised fundamental doubts on the leadership of Nehru. That the policy that Nehru adopted, there was a flaw in that. It was a faulty foreign policy that he followed. Your Indian army was ill prepared. Indian army prepared nahi thi, and Nehru asked them to throw these Chinese out. Other important point was that we didn't care about the construction of roads carried out in the Ladakh region. Now since 1959 Chinese were carrying out construction of roads. उन्होंने रोड का पूरा नेटवर्क बना रखा था और हमारे यहाँ पे कुछ भी डेवलपमेंट नहीं था. Because we were living in an illusion that हिंदी चीनी भाई भाई, हम इस illusion में जी रहे थे कि with China we have no differences. हिंदी चीनी भाई भाई वाला गेम चल रहा था. ओके, दैट वाज अ सिनेरियो. Many military generals alarmed Nehru about this development, that China is going to be a major threat. Sardar Patel, when he was alive, he also mentioned this to Nehru, that real threat is going to be China. That's the point here. And there he miscalculated the exact nature of Chinese state, the exact intention of Chinese state, what Communist Party of China wants, how assertive they are going to be. So the way they are creating trouble against India in the present time, the same thing was happening in 1962 as well. This is the scenario, and there we were wrong. वहाँ पे हम गलत हो रहे थे. So here you need to understand this particular 1962 war. It further exposed India's strategy to going forward in that war. Why I am saying this? We were under Britishers. We were already having air superiority. In 1962, if you compare the Indian Air Force and the Chinese Air Force, we were quite superior. But at the leadership level, it was decided that we won't be using Indian Air Force. That was the wrong strategy. We didn't use Air Force at all. हमने Air Force 1962 में use नहीं की. So military experts, they say that it was a wrong decision. Now the point is this. Here I would like to mention words of Ajit Doval, the National Security Advisor of India. He said that in one of the lectures, he said that if you are having the capability, okay, if you are having the capability, but if you are not using it, it means it is equivalent to not having capability. It is equivalent to not having capability at all. तो आप अपनी strength को अगर use नहीं करते हो, this is what the outcome is going to be, that it will be equivalent to not possessing that ability. That's the point here. This is what happened. We didn't use Indian Air Force at all. The result was that it showed that India didn't have capability at all. That's the point. Because Nehru was of this point that if Air Force is going to be there in the war, it will further escalate the war. So he was living in that illusion, and that was the wrong strategy by Nehru. And quite often in this country we don't talk about 1962 war, and the point is this: if you don't talk about it, you will never learn from your failures. This is what this editorial is telling us. ये चीज बता रहे हैं इस editorial में. And one more thing I would like to share. You can read a very famous book called Himalayan Blunder. Okay, आप Himalayan Blunder पढ़ सकते हैं. If you have time, थोड़ा पढ़ना चाहते हैं. So the Himalayan Blunder. Now this Himalayan Blunder, it was written by Brigadier J.P. Dalvi. Brigadier J.P. Dalvi was prisoner of war. He was prisoner of war. He was taken as a prisoner by Chinese. He has written this thing, that what was wrong at the end of political establishment, where things went wrong in that war. That was the point. And one more thing I would like to tell you, the renowned general of Indian Army, General Sam Manekshaw, Field Marshal Sam Manekshaw, he was removed from the regular service and he was made a victim of politicization. तो उनके अगेंस्ट भी पॉलिटिक्स खेली गई थी. In the initial time he was not there on the front. That's the point here. Later on he proved in 1971 his mettle, what he can do. So this is what we need to understand. Politicization of the armed forces can result these disasters, and this is what had happened in the past. So we need to learn from it. So here are some statistics that we should talk about 1962 war as well. You have to keep few things in the mind, that 1383 soldiers, they sacrificed their life. 1047 wounded, 1696 missing, and over 400 were taken as prisoner of war. This is the statistics. So we need to learn. We cannot allow their sacrifice going waste. So this is the point. So again, the focus was on Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru, that he wanted to portray India as a moral nation, India as an ideal nation, okay, and he was following the policy of idealism, that everyone is good around you, सब लोग आपके आसपास जो हैं वो सही हैं, कोई problem नहीं है, okay, the person who is at the opposite end, there is no problem in that, means China के साथ कोई problem नहीं है, China और India भाई भाई की तरह काम करेंगे, and it is going to be like that. So he was disillusioned with this thought process and he want to portray India as an ethical nation. ये उनका focus चल रहा था कि हम हमेशा peaceful रहेंगे. There is no harm in becoming peaceful. I am not denying it, but you have to live up to the reality. Real क्या है वो चीज समझना जरूरी है. So realism is also important, and he was living in an illusion and he asked ill-prepared and ill-equipped army to remove the Chinese, and there it was a disaster for us. Another point was that an underestimation of strength of Indian Air Force. This was again a mistake that we committed. So as I told you, Ajit Doval, he said that if you are not using your abilities, it is equivalent to not possessing an ability. अगर आप अपनी कैपेबिलिटी को यूज नहीं कर रहे हो तो वो इक्विवेलेंट यही है कि आप उसको किस लिए रखा हुआ है फिर. ओके, दैट वाज द पॉइंट. There was another doubt raised over equation between political, bureaucratic and military top brass. There was another doubt that was raised over appointment of General Kaul. General Kaul, who was close to Nehru family. किस बेस पे आप अपॉइंटमेंट कर रहे हो? Was merit considered? That was the problematic thing. Okay. So ये सारी चीजें हुई हैं. Vicky Gautam sir, but the time India also suffer from poverty, serial crisis, we have to focus on elimination of this. We can't participate in armed race. Okay, it was not the armed race; it was living up to the reality. उसके बाद भी तो जागे ही हैं. लाल बहादुर शास्त्री आए, उन्होंने क्या नारा दिया? जय जवान जय किसान. So he understood this thing that food security is also important and national security is also important. Okay, Indira Gandhi, she brought green revolution. It was during her regime that we introduced green revolution, and it was during her regime only we fought Bangladesh liberation war. So both things can do side by side. So if your borders are secure, then only you can think about, you can say, food security, energy security. अगर बॉर्डर सिक्योर नहीं है तो फिर किस चीज के बारे में सोचोगे आप? फर्स्ट प्रायोरिटी शुड बी द नेशनल सिक्योरिटी. बॉर्डर को सिक्योर करना जरूरी है. दिस इज द पॉइंट हियर. चलिए, सो दिस इज व्हाट वाज देयर. नाउ देयर वाज दिस अनदर न्यूज व्हिच वाज रिलेटेड टू द डेथ्स इन गाम्बिया. ओके, so this is what was there, and these are, you can say, political editorials. We won't be picking that up. So Gambia child death and cough syrups. Okay, so basically 69 children died in Gambia, and it was said that primarily it was because of substandard syrup which was exported from India. So India से एक substandard syrup export किया गया था Gambia के अंदर, and because of that 69 children they died. Okay, so here let's look into this in detail. इसको थोड़ा डिटेल में जानते हैं why it became a news. So first of all, it is saying that contaminated cough syrup made by Indian manufacturer, it led to deaths of 69 babies in Gambia. This is what had happened. Now the point is this, let's look into the geographical scenario of Gambia. As you can see on the screen, this is the west coast of Africa. Okay, ये west coast of Africa है, and Gambia is located here. Here Gambia is located. It's a very small country with very small population. बहुत छोटा कंट्री है, बहुत स्मॉल पॉपुलेशन है. फेमस कंट्री विल बी सेनेगल. आसपास सेनेगल है, एज यू कैन सी ऑन द स्क्रीन. दिस इज द, यू कैन से, फोकस्ड मैप. दिस इज गाम्बिया, अ वेरी लीनियर कंट्री दैट वी हैव, एंड ऑन द थ्री साइड्स Senegal is there, and on one side here we have this ocean. So this is the location of Gambia. Okay, कि भी हर साइड सेनेगल है, ये चीज आपको याद रखनी है. फ्रॉम द मैप पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू यू नीड टू लर्न दिस. ओके, बिकॉज नाउ दिस स्टेट, दिस पर्टिकुलर कंट्री इज इन न्यूज. वी नीड टू लुक इनटू द ज्योग्राफिकल सिनेरियो ऑफ दिस कंट्री एज वेल. थोड़ा ज्योग्राफी को भी पढ़ेंगे. दैट वाज द थिंग. Other point is this, now laboratory means WHO pointed out few things related to the findings of the detail, that what got wrong. भाई पूरे मामले में गलत क्या हुआ. So two chemicals that were in focus, it was diethylene glycol and ethylene glycol. Diethylene glycol and ethylene glycol, and WHO pointed out that these two were the contaminants. इनकी contamination की वजह से ये सारी गड़बड़ हुई. These diethylene glycol and ethylene glycol, they are illegal adulterants. They are illegal adulterants. Now you should make notes out of it. ये आपके prelims के लिए important है information. ये important हो गया है because tragedy had happened. So these chemicals and what are the properties associated with them, that's important for your prelims. So diethylene glycol and ethylene glycol, they are illegal adulterants. Okay, that may be used as solvents इन लिक्विड मेडिकेशन, तो एज अ सोलवेंट इनको यूज करते हैं, बट ये इलीगल एडल्ट्रेंट है, अप्रूव नहीं किया जाता. सो कॉमन सोलवेंट सच एज ग्लिसरीन and propylene glycol, they are used in cough syrups. These are the approved, you can say, arrangements. ये approved solvents हैं आपके, glycerine and propylene glycol. Instead of putting up these particular approved, you can say, chemicals, the manufacturer, they went for cheap ethylene glycol and diethylene glycol. उन्होंने सस्ता सामान डाल दिया, and that led to the contamination, that led to this particular problem. Okay, so, अब नुकसान क्या हुआ? These particular chemicals, they are associated with kidney failure. किडनी फेलियर के साथ इनका नाम जोड़ा जाता है, एंड दीज डेथ्स आर नॉट हैपनिंग फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम. इवन इन इंडिया एंड इन बांग्लादेश, डेथ्स ऑफ चिल्ड्रन डिड हैपन इन द पास्ट. सो इंडिया में भी इन्हीं केमिकल्स की वजह से नुकसान हुआ है. But here, with this development, things went wrong because image of your country was also associated. India is known as pharma of the world. Okay, India को pharma of the world बोल देते हैं, because we are really good at producing economical medicine. काफी सस्ते में हम medicine देते हैं पूरी दुनिया को. But here it is denting India's image over the quality. So right now investigation has been initiated. Your Indian government is also initiating the investigation. Things will be found out, who all are responsible for that. The manufacturers are located in India. So already the process has started. This was the news. So prelims related content, you can note it down regarding these chemicals which we used in this particular slide. तो ये आप बिल्कुल यूज करेंगे, अपने prelims related content में डालेंगे. Okay, so we'll move to the next news. अगली news पे चलते हैं. So as you can see, this is what was there. Okay, now here we are moving towards this thing. So here court is saying this: court cannot issue direction to frame universal civil code. Very often this is debated. बहुत बार ये डिबेट होता है कि यूनिवर्सल यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड हमें लगाना चाहिए इंडिया के अंदर. ओके, सो व्हाट एग्जैक्टली इज यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड? लेट मी टेल यू समथिंग इन ब्रेक इन डिटेल. ओके, सो यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड राइट नाउ इफ यू लुक इनटू द पर्सनल लॉज. ओके, नाउ पर्सनल लॉज कौन से होते हैं? पर्सनल लॉज आर रिलेटेड टू मैरिज, इट कैन बी रिलेटेड टू इनहेरिटेंस. These laws are different for different communities in India. हर community के लिए different arrangement है. Okay, so Muslims, they are governed by separate law, Hindus are governed by separate law, Christians are governed by separate law. सब लोगों के doubts, सब लोगों के जो क्या कहते हैं laws हैं, they are different. This is one point. This is one point. Other point is this: your article 44 says that we need to impose uniform civil code in India, that all the citizen of the country, they should be treated under equal laws. Now it is also linked with secularism. बिल्कुल secularism के साथ भी link कर देते हैं कि भाई आप सेकुलर बनाना चाहते हो कंट्री को तो यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड लेके आओ. व्हाई यू हैव डिफरेंट लॉज फॉर डिफरेंट कम्युनिटी मेंबर्स? दैट्स द पॉइंट. अलग अलग कम्युनिटी मेंबर्स के लिए आपके पास अलग अलग लॉ क्यों हैं? ओके, so this is what the debate is. Now the government is saying this in the court that it is a policy matter. सुप्रीम कोर्ट कैन नॉट कम आउट विद द इंस्ट्रक्शन कि भाई इसमें जुडिशरी का कोई काम नहीं है, ये सब हम ही देखेंगे क्या बन रहा है इसके अंदर. Okay, this is what the thing is. How can we facilitate this uniform civil code? कैसे लाया जा सकता है? The point is this: first you have to make consensus about it. सबसे पहले आपको consensus लाना पड़ेगा among different community members, because if you are not starting this debate, if you are not working on building consensus, it will be construed as imposition of majority over minority. कि भी मेजॉरिटी पॉपुलेशन अपना थॉट प्रोसेस, अपना रिलीजन दूसरों पे इंपोज कर रहे हैं, एंड इट विल नॉट बी टेकन इन अ ट्रू स्पिरिट. सही स्पिरिट में इसे नहीं लिया जाएगा. सो दिस इज द ओनली वे आउट दैट वी हैव. क्लियर? दैट वाज द डिबेट. ओके, So we'll move to the next part. आगे चलते हैं. There is another news which says that Supreme Court asked government to develop modules on drug abuse that can render as order. कि भाई drug abuse को लेके अब कुछ करें आप. Why Supreme Court is saying this, that here in India drug abuse is a serious problem. Investigations have pointed out things are not right. So we need to improve the system. Now, if we look into drug abuse there in India, India is at a location which is transition between two drug triangles or two major drug trading areas. So here on the western side we have Golden Crescent, that is 3 countries are indulged in drug trade: Pakistan, Afghanistan and Iran. On the eastern side if we have Golden Triangle, that is Vietnam, Laos, Thailand and Myanmar. So we are in a location which is transitional और हमारे यहाँ पे दोनों साइड पूरी दुनिया का जो ड्रग ट्रेड होता है उसका स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट है. This is what the problem is. So right now in Afghanistan, Taliban is back in power, and these terrorist organizations, they use drugs for their terror funding. तो यहाँ पे टेरर फंडिंग की अगर हम बात करते हैं, for that particular thing drug trade is used. Okay, there is a nexus which is termed as narco terror nexus. This narco terror nexus exists. That's the point here. It means that if you want to deal with this particular problem, it is not possible to handle it individually. We have to work with these particular countries. अगर आप सही में कोई सोल्यूशन लेके आना चाहते हैं तो इन सब कंट्रीज के साथ मिलके काम करना पड़ेगा. Otherwise it is very difficult to deal with this problem. So this is the picture of drug trade in this country. Now if you look into the numbers, the amount of drug that is being smuggled, अभी देखिए यहाँ से drugs इंडिया के अंदर लाई जाती है and through India it will move to other parts of the world. इंडिया के अंदर फिर यहाँ पे like recently there was this news where in one of the ports in Gujarat, drugs worth of thousands of crore was found. So it was recently in 1 year, I guess the statistic says that drugs worth of 30,000 crore has been, you can say, found. ये 30,000 करोड़ के राउंड का ड्रग्स जो स्मगल हो रहा था इंडिया से वो मिला है, हमारी एजेंसीज ने उसे पकड़ा है. दिस इज द स्टैटिस्टिक्स. Another point is this: India is a youthful nation. So if you want to protect your youth, this is also important that we need to take up this drug abuse very seriously. अगर आप वाकई यूथ को सही डायरेक्शन में लेके जाना चाहते हो, if you want demographic dividend, this is what we need to look into our mind. Otherwise the problem is going to be very serious. Punjab is already struggling with it. We don't want other parts of the country to still struggle with this problem. Okay, so ये सारी समस्या है जो चल रही है. This is what we had here. So let's look into the news. News में देखते हैं और क्या खास है. Okay, so this is what was there. Center went against on guidelines. Okay, तो अब इसको बोला जा रहा है, कांग्रेस ने बोला है, but they will look into this. Macron may visit India next year. Nuclear power on agenda. So it's a good thing. See, France wants to invest in Indian market. And definitely we should also be encouraging these developments. So they are already stating this in Jaipur. They are interested in establishing a nuclear, you can say, power unit, but there are some issues related to the purchasing agreements. So power purchasing agreements को लेके थोड़ा disagreement हो रहा है. So things might improve with his visit. Okay, so other than that there is nothing much, कुछ खास नहीं. Okay, so on this page as well there is nothing much. We don't believe in hierarchical world. There is this message that our defense minister is giving to the African nations. This is the defense expo going on in Gandhinagar. Okay, India wants to emerge as a major defense exporting nation. तो ये चीज चल रही है. Sir, which states have more used drugs? Okay, see, it is there pan India. We cannot single out a particular, you can say, state here. एक state को हम single out नहीं कर सकते. Chetu is asking, sir, just one doubt in reading political related news is required. You have to figure it out, you have to extract the exam relevant things from that. So if they are politically motivated, उसके अंदर क्या exam relevant है वो आप थोड़ा निकालें. So with experience you will be able to know it. चलिए. So this is what was there. Other than that there is nothing much, कुछ खास नहीं. Directly we'll move to the IR page. Okay, we have already discussed these things. Now Pakistan likely to be taken off FATF grey list. So basically FATF was established to deal with terror funding and Pakistan was on grey list. It means that there were some restrictions that were imposed on Pakistan. ये system चल रहा था. So they were expecting Pakistan to bring some reforms to stop terror funding, and I guess Pakistan took some domestic steps to deal with the terror funding. Okay, होता क्या है, रियलिटी में कुछ नहीं होता है. कुछ टेररिस्ट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को बैन करते हैं, that terrorist organization will reappear with some new name. तो सिर्फ एक आई वॉश है, and this is what is happening there. But right now they might move out of this grey list. Okay, ऐसी जो है यहाँ पे situation बन रही है. So this is how things were. Other than that there is nothing much. Okay, so that's it for the day then. Thank you very much.